The adjusted Omicron boosters are out, and people are lining up not to take the shots, but at game shows, concerts, resorts. If you have read Hounds of Baskerville by Arthur Conan Doyle featuring Sherlock Holmes, it is significant that the hounds are not barking. People like me should have been very happy about these adjusted boosters. This seems to be an exciting news that has not excited anybody. And the reason behind that is this is a newer booster. It is a split booster. It has some original COVID activity and is also targeted specifically towards BF like Omicron 4 and 5. My thinking is that most of us already have very good protection against serious disease. All that we have to do is protect the vulnerable. Protecting the vulnerable can be done two ways. One is protecting them by giving them boosters, extra attention, and secondly is reducing their chance of catching COVID by cutting down the transmission of COVID in the community. We tried that during the first booster, the third dose. That time we were told that you are protected against serious disease already, but if you take the third dose, the chance of you getting COVID will be so less that you won't spread it to vulnerable people. Now let's see whether this newer Omicron adjusted booster can do that. Means the like we were originally aiming with the vaccines to prevent getting COVID altogether. These are specifically adjusted towards Omicron 4 and 5. So the question is whether they will protect you completely from even getting mild disease, mild COVID disease. And the answer to that is no. Even if they are effective, they won't be effective. And the reasoning is very simple. A individual takes it, it will be somewhat effective for that individual to not catch COVID. But for it to be effective in the community, many people in the community, a certain threshold of people in the community will need to take it. And that ain't happening. Not too many people are going to get this boosters. So our question is now, when will we stop trying to drag the entire community through things that they don't want to do to protect the vulnerable? We should just focus on vulnerable and protect them. Forget about the rest of the community. Let them lead the life. So, if I was asked to endorse this Omicron booster, I would say that I'm not recommending against it. That's my endorsement. Now, do I have any safety concerns? Absolutely not. I completely trust FDA and CDC. This is the beauty of the mRNA technology. There were minor tweaks in this vaccine. Half the component is the same. It is true that it was not studied in humans, and it is true that some of the predictions are extrapolated from the work that they have done against BA1. But that's always done against RNA viruses. We do that all the time about flu vaccine. So I have no safety concerns. If you live in the United States, follow the CDC FDA guidelines. If you have any questions, call your doctors. Miss, I understand the concerns of people who oppose vaccines, but all this crazy conspiracy thing, like all the side effects that have been attributed to the vaccines, that seem to be predominantly happening in people who have not taken a single dose of vaccine. Now, what to do in India? If you are in India and if you have not taken a vaccine so far, nobody is going to change your mind now. You've been a bad boy, but it's okay now, doesn't matter. Welcome back to the community. If you have taken 3 doses, means 2 doses and a precaution dose, you don't have to do anything. If you have taken 2 doses and you are wondering whether you had Omicron, let me answer that to you. You had Omicron. So you have taken 2 doses, you have likely had Omicron, and you are wondering whether you should take the booster. I have had thousands of queries like that. And if I answer take the booster, they keep asking me till I tell them not to take the booster, and then they're happy. So nobody in India is in mind to take the booster. People don't want to take it, but they want me to say that don't take the booster. But let's examine this. If you have taken 2 doses in India, this is not medical advice. I'm telling you as a friend. You can always direct message me on Twitter at Dr. Godse and I'll try and talk to you as a friend. If you have taken 2 doses of vaccine in India, whichever, and if you are more than there's some cry, if you are more than 75 years old, if you have chronic disease like chronic renal failure, uncontrolled diabetes, severe hypertension, coronary artery disease, some cancer, chemotherapy, COPD, emphysema, if you follow, if you have any of those, then you should consider taking the booster. Now, which one? Now, India is now allowing mix and match. 2 doses of Covishield people should try and take Covaxin. 2 doses of Covaxin should try Covishield. It is interesting now that the Omicron adjusted booster, which is specific against Omicron 4 and 5, is available. And we are telling people still to take the old booster because I don't think that this mRNA adjusted Omicron booster will be available in India anytime soon. It's not going to be available. It would have been an excellent opportunity. Nobody is going to buy this mRNA vaccine in US. So it would have been an excellent opportunity to study it, and mRNA vaccine would have complemented Covishield Covaxin nicely. I was talking about changing Covaxin, but Covaxin is already a whole virion vaccine. It's a complete vaccine, so it will be hard to tweak it. Maybe Covishield that can be tweaked. You know, the interesting thing about the mRNA platform when it came about with so much fanfare, that it is like a software, so it can be changed very easily, quickly, expeditiously. And that's how right now, keeping the whole ingredients, almost all the ingredients same, they can make a quick tweak and change it to whatever pathogen we are talking about. Means, for example, you have an app that deals with traffic and you have released it in Bombay and Pittsburgh. Now you do another tweak to that app and software and you want to add weather information. But if you have information about snow, you don't need that for Bombay. If you have information for floods, you may not need it for this region. So those tweaks could be customized. So the vaccine could be customized to that region. So mRNA technology could be do BA5 in US and maybe do BA2.75 in India. So that is the beauty of mRNA technology, and that's the promise with which the vaccine were initially delivered. Now their efficacy in preventing mild disease is almost not there, like 5-10%. But vaccines save lives. India's spectacular vaccination drive has done much to avoid India's third wave. That's where there is no vaccines have saved us from the pandemic. There should not be any mandates, but they have definitely saved us. Now, thinking back, like when this all was happening, say around December 2020, India decided to go with Covishield Covaxin. And that time, people like me were saying that why is not India going with the newfangled mRNA technology that US was bringing? If you have to compare it, India decided to go with a typewriter and US was going with Microsoft Word. But not Microsoft Word that we are used to now. The Microsoft Word in like 90s, where it was very bug ridden, used to crash all the time, you might lose the data. So United States and Europe took a chance on the mRNA technology that it may not have worked, it could have crashed at the last minute. There were problems. So they had also invested a little bit in adenovirus technology, Covishield AstraZeneca. India decided to go with a sturdy typewriter. That at the end of the day, the paper is there, you have typewriter, you could do stuff to it. So it was black and white right in front of you. The benefit now in hindsight of the mRNA technology is on India's letter. If you want to move the first paragraph to the last one, you'll have to take the paper, put the new paper, and start typing. With mRNA, you can just quickly edit. So that is the benefit. So I think India also is having its own mRNA vaccine. They can consider to tweak it to the newer variants. And it is It is fine. Like we said, the pandemic is now over. So people occasionally ask this question that when will life be normal again? It will be normal again when you stop asking this question. It is normal already. Look around you. You don't have to keep hitting or clicking on this virus news and other thing. Just enjoy your life. Just be careful and see what's going on. Just keep abreast of the science, Dr. Ravi Godse. And one more important thing. You want to take the booster and you have recently had COVID and you are thinking how soon to take the booster. CDC and FDA are saying that soon as you recover, within couple days you can take the booster. I will compare it that you are going on a long car journey and you don't want to stop for petrol or gas on the way. So you recently had COVID, so your gas tank, your petrol tank is filled with immunity. Now it is little bit empty and you want to give yourself booster by putting petrol gas in it before the long journey. If you take it just few days after the COVID infection, your petrol tank or your gas tank will only be 25% empty. So you will get the booster, but it won't get that much mileage. You won't get more out of it. You will get only 25%. On the other hand, if you wait till your immunity gas tank or the petrol tank is half empty, 50% empty, then you will get way more mileage out of that booster by filling gas or filling petrol at that time. Means you always run the risk of running out of petrol and catching another COVID, but you have to find the balance. So I would recommend as a friend that if you recently have COVID, then it may be reasonable to wait up to 90 days so that by then your immunity petrol tank, gas tank is emptier and you will get way more mileage out of the booster. Dr. Ravi Godse.